So the first thing you're going to do is make your brine solution. I put the brands that I like to use for my ingredients right here. I've got Anthony's Premium Pink Curing Salt, number one. I use Morton Canning and Pickling Salt. And then I also use a large jug of pickling spice from Restaurant Store because I'm constantly doing this year round. So it's nice to have a bunch on hand. As for the canning and pickling salt, you can also use kosher salt. The biggest thing is you just don't want salt with iodine in it because you don't want your meat to have a metallic taste. As for the brine, you're going to put in 4 tablespoons of the pickling salt to a gallon of water, a tablespoon of the pink curing salt, although I have seen other recipes that said a teaspoon, and they turned out just fine. I always do a tablespoon, and then you're going to put in 1 full cup of the salt of your choice, and then a half cup of brown sugar. You're going to add all of those ingredients to the pot and also the gallon of water, bring it to a boil, and then turn off your stove and let it come to room temperature. Then you will put that pot into the fridge and let it fully cool down overnight so that you are not putting your meat in any sort of warm brine. You want your meat to be added to a cold brine. The next day after your brine has gotten cold in the fridge, you will add it to either a brine bag like these. I like to use the 5-gallon bucket liner bags for my turkeys and my briskets, or you can pour it directly into a pot or roast pan. If you purchased a brisket from us, it will probably need to be trimmed because we do finish all of our briskets untrimmed. So some of them will have a fat cap. This one right here really does not have much fat, so I am actually not going to trim this one. But the second one below, I'm doing 2 at once. I am going to trim off some of this excess fat, and that is so the brine can penetrate the meat. It will not penetrate through the fat. So then we are going to add our brisket that is newly trimmed to the brine bags. I am doing 2, so I am going to just stack them flat on top of each other. Then very carefully, usually with a second person, you're going to pour your cold refrigerated brine over top of your meat. And like I said, if you don't have the bags, that's okay. You could pour it right into a roast pan like this one. And then I use the bags, so I like to get all of the air out. What you don't want is you do not want the meat that is on the top side to be out of the brine. So if you need to, you might need to put a little bit of a weight on top to hold it down. But you want all of the meat covered by the brine. And if it isn't covered, you could always flip it each day and make sure it equally gets covered. Make sure all of your spices from the brine pot get put into that brine pot or bag as well. And then lastly, you're going to seal off your bag. I like to tie it up with a rubber band. Basically make sure there's no air in there, and then those briskets will go into the fridge for at least 5 days. I like to do 7 days when I am doing 2 briskets.